Welcome back to the Coco Convo Corner. This is episode 7, and we're getting into my Beyoncé Renaissance World Tour experience in Atlanta. So, you guys, this was originally on the docket. You know, when Renaissance, the album Act 1, came out a year ago, my girlfriend and I, we listened to it. We were like, what is she on? But we kept listening, and with each listen, it got better and better and better. And then it got to the point where I couldn't stop playing it. Like, I would play it from start to finish. And then after a while, I was like, oh man, I don't want to get tired out on this. Let me cycle in some other, musicians and artists and things of that nature. And then a couple months down the line, my girlfriend mentioned, she was like, hey, like, make sure you got a Beyonce fund set aside for, when she does the tour. And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, that's not a thing. Sure, let me just change one of my savings accounts names to Beyonce, and then that'll be, what that is, right? And so before she announced she was touring, I had gone on another impromptu trip. Like, it wasn't planned. I was like, oh, I'll just use the Beyonce tour money. She hasn't mentioned a tour. It's been a year. She hasn't released visuals. Like, it's whatever. So paid for that impromptu trip. And then literally like a week and a half or 2 weeks later, she announced that she was going on tour. And I was like, oh my gosh. But it was all good. Like I said, you gotta, keep your multiple savings accounts for, things that just might happen, just might come up. So it was all good anyway. Getting the tickets was an experience within itself. Like, if you know, there was like a super fan tier, and then like a regular, I think like if you have a special card tier, and then like a regular fan tier, just generic. And my girlfriend, she was able to get into like the top tier one, and I got into like the generic one a couple of days later, and I got better tickets at a lower rate. So that was interesting. And I told myself, I was like, yeah, never again. Because what it looks like happens that a lot of people bought tickets to resell, and then the closer it came to the day of her visiting, her performance night, ticket prices started dropping, people started releasing stuff, and I was just like, yeah, no, never again. Never again will I be rushing to get tickets in that way. So fast forward, it's outfit time, right? I didn't know exactly what I wanted to wear, but I was like, I only get really super dressy if it's for a special event. Like, that's when I'll pull out like the bling or the fancy things, or just things I don't wear on the day to day. But I was like, you know what, for these pictures, for this experience, I want to do something special. I want to do something that typically didn't do in regards to like clothing and presentation, and I just kind of like want to stand out. So I ordered a couple of different pieces here and there, and I was putting stuff together, and the first outfit I had in mind, I was like, this looks very BDSM, so I don't know. But the second outfit is the one that I went with, and I absolutely like adored it. It was like this chain like bikini and undergarment bottom too, but I didn't wear the full undergarment bottom because that might have been like a little too sexy, risque. But then like these sheer pants with pearls, and one of her songs references pearls. Then I had my pink cowboy hat, and my hair was doing what it wanted to do that day, but it was overall like I was very happy with what I wore. And then and of course I'm skipping some stuff, but I'm trying to get to the actual concert. So I went with my girlfriend and 2 others, basically like family. And so we go, and like walk there was cool. It was fun. Everybody's complimenting each other. Everybody's going, oh, you look good, or oh, she looks nice. You hear people like whispering, or you see people pointing and all this other good stuff. So it was just very like immersive, just on the walk from like where we parked to getting to Mercedes-Benz Stadium where it was held. And so then we get to like, the lines and security, and you look around, and it's just like everybody is done up head to toe. And of course you have some like casual dresses, but like the people that went out. I'm talking about fringe. I'm talking about bling. I'm talking about boa feathers. I'm talking about sheer. I'm talking about boots. I'm talking about hats. I'm talking about LEDs. I'm talking about bling, 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 sparkle, 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 shine, 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 sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. It was just so amazing to see so many people who decide to show up and show out. I felt like, yeah, this is my community. Like, we all came here for one reason, and that was to see and celebrate not only Beyonce, but this album and what it has meant to so many people. I know for me, it definitely created these feelings of like liberation and freedom and like living your best life, like living life. That's when I think about this album and how it makes me feel like, Courtney, Coco, go live your life. Like, live your life, and not necessarily in like in a reckless way or, complete abandonment from, what you've known growing up and ways of life. More so you have the freedom to release and express yourself, and it just felt so encouraging. Whenever I play the album, there's only like one or two songs that I skip. I'm not gonna say the main song I skipped, because whenever I brought it up to the few people I brought it up to, they were acting like they were about to stone me, put me on the freaking wooden branch thing and burn me at the stake. That's what I felt like they were about to do. So there are only like two songs on the album where I just don't care for them, but everything else I let it play through. So you could feel the community. You could feel the community in the air. And I don't know how else to explain that. Okay. So got into the stadium. The concession food and everything was pretty, like, relatively cheap. The only thing pretty pricey were like, the alcoholic drinks. But I did get like a salty pretzel that was dry for like $2. And then some water for like $3. So it was very reasonable for it to be like stadium concessions. I wasn't expecting that. We went to our seats, and it was a really good view. I felt like the seats were great. We could see the screen. I felt like she was close enough. I couldn't reach out and like touch the hem of her garment, but it was great. It was a great visual. Great before she started. I think the start time was 8, and she started either 8:45 or 9. She didn't start past 9. So it was good. Just, you could feel this ground swelling of emotions and excitement and cheering. And you see people taking pictures. You see people hyping each other up. You see people dancing. There was a couple of guys to the right who were being like cheer, dancing diva, team captains, doing their dances and stuff like that. And I started laughing, but I wasn't laughing at them. Okay, so here's the other setup. This is the Coco Convo Corner, so I'm just going to give y'all as much as I want to give y'all. So to my left, there was this older woman, and apparently she'd come with her daughter. So she tapped me, and she said something about my outfit, and I was like, thank you, yeah, I just put together, da-da. And so then, like, she was like, yeah, I came here with my daughter, and I was like, I'm surprised. I was like, yeah, my mom, she would probably not come to a Beyonce concert, but she definitely want to go to like that Kirk Franklin concert that'll probably be here in October. She was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. She said she wanted to come, and I'm just glad that she wanted to, like, bring me. And I was like, that's nice. So then, we're taking pictures and everything. We're talking. Not the lady and I, my friend and I. So then a couple minutes later, she tapped me again. And she was like, how do you function in those? Y'all, I had on these long nails. And I told her, I was like, I'm still trying to figure it out. I put these on the car right here. And I said, these are really just for the pictures. As soon as like I'm done with this experience, these are coming off, like, intentionally. She was like, okay. I was like, yeah. So then, even though I was having like a nice rapport with her, in my head I was like, this isn't gonna last, because I'm wearing sheer pants. Like, the panty area, that's darkened, but everything else is sheer, and I plan on throwing my caboose all night. Like, that was the plan. The plan was to throw my caboose all night. And the way she was sitting, and the way when I stand up, my butt is just in her face and it's naked. I was just like, I don't know how. I don't think we'll still be friends after this, but that's okay, because I'm not here for you. I'm here for Beyonce. So it starts with, the projected images and screens, and it's beautiful. It's massive. One thing I did say to one of my girlfriends, though, is that everyone talked about Beyonce and the looks and the vocals and the atmosphere and the community. Not one person talked about the message that I've seen, that I've spoken to. Not one person talked about the messages that she had going across the screens. And that kind of concerned me, because messages, I felt like they were very much so like, hey, y'all, pay attention to this. I hope you're paying attention to this. Hey, message. But no one else has brought them up. So while she was doing transitions and while she was changing, which very short amount of time, she was like in and out, not more than like 5 or 7 minutes to transition and change clothes. It was wild. It's like a well-oiled machine, obviously. While that was happening, she had things coming across the screen, mainly visuals, but also words. So one of the themes was like news and media. Even one of her stage sets was like an on-air type of thing where she's like an announcer and stuff like that. But across the screen, it was saying whoever controls the media controls the mind. And it said that in several different ways, and nobody else I've spoken to about the concert or videos that I've seen has shown that. And so I'm just like, are y'all paying attention? Because I also did go into this concert with, you know how people are like, Beyonce is the devil. Beyonce is a catalyst for evil. Beyonce this, Beyonce that. So I had that in mind too. I was like, let me see if I feel like any kind of demonic thing or if my demonic sensors go off. And they did not. The only time I felt, I guess, some kind of feeling where I was like, was when she had visuals popping up, and you know how you have the older paintings with like the halo around the head, or someone who just appears like their Mother Teresa and stuff like that. Those popped up and I was like, so kind of like on a worshiping level. And a lot of people do worship Beyonce. And I believe like even one of her lyrics, she says that she's a god, she's a hero, she's the vibe. So even that, she's not necessarily talking about herself in that lyric, but I never want to look at a human and be like, that's a god. You know what I mean? So I did keep that in mind too. But it was concerning to me that no one else talked about her messaging and, you know, outside of, oh, she looks good, oh, she killed it, oh, she da-da-da-da-da-da. I just feel like people didn't catch on to some of the deeper meanings of what she was trying to convey throughout her sets. So, let's get to what everybody else is talking about. Her outfits, tens across the board. Her vocals, she sounded like what I think an angel would sound like. Like, I could see Beyonce drawing people in with her voice, and if she wanted to, sing them off a cliff, like them just walking towards her and then falling to their demise. Like, it was very much so. I know I've used the word before, angel and angelic, but then I also do think about what the Bible says like angels are, which like the multi eyes and the creepiness, honestly, for me. So I don't even know if it would be angelic. I think ethereal. It felt ethereal to listen to her. It felt like it was not of this world. And I'm very well aware she's been singing for decades, vocally trained, you know, diets, best of the best. You know, people who she's been involved with work and things, best of the best. I'm getting a call, so I'm losing my train of thought. So even with knowing that she has access and resources to become Beyonce, I was still in shock. And I also had to remember, like, I've never been to a Beyonce concert. And I had to think about it. I was like, have I ever gone to anything Destiny's Child related? No. Have I ever gone to like a festival and Beyonce performed? No. And I didn't go see her like on the Run tours. I didn't go see the Formation tour. So this was my first like true Beyonce experience that didn't come from a television or a compact disc or, you know, some digital platform. To hear her voice live, it did feel magical. Not spiritually wicked like some people want to deem her. Definitely magical and ethereal and not of this world. It just felt like she could sing someone off a cliff if she so chose. And that's a lot of power. That is a lot of power to have. And speaking of, I believe she's well aware of that, because throughout the concert, she kept expressing her thankfulness and her gratitude and her love for her supporters. Like, that was another thing I took away. I was like, she's being so gracious and being so just giving, her words of thanks and just, making it be known, like, without her supporters, she couldn't do anything that she wanted to do. She could not be living her dream. So that's something I took away from this. Not that I never thought Beyonce wasn't gracious or anything, but I was just like, wow, she was filled, overflowing with gratitude and had no problem like letting us, the listeners and supporters, know it. So I really, really, really appreciated that. The transitions between sets, immaculate. Like how you've seen the clips from some of the other performances in other cities, and it's like there are issues and stuff. Like, I didn't see one issue. I didn't see one fan not get turned on. I didn't see one hair curl flip the way she wanted to. Like, it just, everything seemed seamless, and it seemed like, yeah, this was perfection. And knowing that it's coming from a perfectionist, she deems herself perfectionist. I was like, oh, okay, this is what hard work and dedication and discipline and practice looks like. It looks like this. The culmination was this. So I left feeling like, people are like, oh, I got my life. I've never really used that term, I don't think, but I left feeling like, wow, I got my life. Every red penny she got from me, she earned. And I was grateful to have been there to experience it. And knowing that this is just Act 1, I'm like, wow, what are Act 2 and Act 3 going to be like? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if you could top yourself. You know what I mean? They said that this is the highest grossing tour by a Black artist. And it was previously held by, no other than Beyonce for the Formation World Tour. And I would recommend that everybody goes. I even considered going again, like the next night, or because she had 2 other shows. I was like, maybe I can go on Monday. Then I was like, no, I need to. Still reveling in Friday night when I went. So, yeah, it was my experience with going to see Beyonce. And it was definitely a night to remember. It was definitely a night to remember. She said, we won the mute challenge. Y'all won. That was fun to see that recording and hear her screaming at us, or hi Atlanta. Even her voice, it was just so inviting and soothing. And I feel like as long as you know the difference between inviting and soothing and manipulation, you'll be okay with inviting and soothing and, welcoming. Something that's warm, instead of feeling like, oh, she's trying to manipulate me and be a siren and songstress and bring me to the shore to crash. That's at least not what I received from her. So, in conclusion, I'd like to quote an interview that Beyonce did. I believe it was with like Hoda or Gayle King. And she walked in, they were talking about her accomplishments, and they were like, you're Beyonce. Beyonce goes, thank you. Thanks for stopping by the Coco Convo Corner. If you went to the Beyonce concert, let me know about your experience. Is there anything that you felt like stood out or that gave you your life that night, or you felt like, oh, this could have been better? Even the dancers were great. Her backup singers were great. The live band was amazing, y'all. I'm supposed to be doing the outro. If you have any other concerts you're going to, or festivals or music happenings, also let me know. Maybe we can talk about it in the corner. All right. Bye.